Former Supreme Court Justice Andres Reyes Jr. will serve as a chairperson of the Independent Commission for Infrastructure. In a press conference on Monday, September 15, President Bongbong Marcos says Reyes has a good track record of honesty and fairness.
He has been a jurist for a very, very long time with a very good record of honesty and fairness, and a good record of being able to find justice for those who have been victimized.
Former President Rodrigo Duterte appointed Reyes to the Supreme Court in July 2017. Reyes retired in May 2020 upon reaching the mandatory retirement age of 70. Palace Press Officer Claire Castro earlier identified the two other members of the commission as former Public Works Secretary Rogelio Babe Singson and SJV and Company Country Managing Partner Rosana Fajardo. Baguio City Mayor Benjamin Magalong is designated as the body's special advisor and investigator. Marcos said the three-member body met on Monday to discuss Independent Commission for Infrastructure matters, including its organizational structure.
Hindi kami makikialam sa trabaho nila. We will of course be in discussion with them. We will ask them, ano nangyari, what have you found, what are we doing next, etc. But we're not about to direct them as to how they are going to conduct their investigations. And we are going to leave it up to them.
On September 11, Marcos issued Executive Order No. 94 creating the Independent Commission for Infrastructure. The independent super body is tasked to investigate government infrastructure works over the past decade. This comes amid the current administration's intensified efforts to probe into anomalies in the country's flood control projects. President Bongbong Marcos says he supports protests against the recently exposed corruption in government, particularly in flood control projects. In a press conference on Monday, September 15, Marcos was asked about protests and rally groups mobilizing against corruption, especially amid similar movements in Indonesia and Nepal. In response, Marcos says if he were not president, he might have joined the demonstrations.
Since this has all been exposed, well, it's actually known to many people, but it has now been exposed to the general public. Do you blame them for going out into the streets? If I wasn't president, I might be out in the streets with them.
Marcos also says he's not worried that the protests in the Philippines will mirror those in Nepal and Indonesia, where demonstrations have become violent. Marcos notes that such unrest will only arise if the government fails to act. However, the president reminds protesters to keep their demonstrations peaceful.
That is only if we don't do anything about it. Look, what we have found, you have to remember, I brought this up. And it is my interest that we find the solution to what has become a very egregious problem. Palaman ninyo sa kanila, sigawan ninyo, lahat, gawin ninyo, mag-demonstrate. Just keep it peaceful. Kasi pagka hindi na peaceful, mahirap na yan. The police will have to do its duty to maintain peace and order.
Amid the investigation into alleged anomalous flood control projects, various groups are set to stage protests from September 15 to 21. The anti-corruption rally on September 21 coincides with the anniversary of martial law under the dictatorship of former President Ferdinand Marcos Sr., the current president's father. Local fuel retailers will again increase prices of petroleum products starting Tuesday, September 16. In an advisory on Monday, September 15, oil firms say diesel prices will be more expensive by 50 centavos per liter. Meanwhile, gasoline and kerosene prices will inch up by 10 centavos a liter. This will be the fifth straight week of price increases for gasoline and the fourth for diesel and kerosene. Industry sources cited late last week the rising geopolitical tensions among the factors affecting global oil prices. These include the persistent conflict in the Middle East and the looming fresh sanctions against Russia.